2025 not looking very good right now. In fact, unemployment is also rising here in Canada and also in places like the United States. With that being said, guys, let's dive into the very first video.
I don't know if anybody else is going through this too. I'm sure there are with how bad the job market is. I always see these posts of people who are somehow able to, get a job with full-time and benefits, and it's like, I'm not having that luck. I'm not having that luck whatsoever. I wake up every day just worried if I'm going to be able to ever get a job that I can settle in at all. I'm tired of the job hunting, and it's getting so exhausting, and I just, so if anybody has tips or anything about, I've done LinkedIn, I've done Indeed, I've done so many different things, and I haven't gotten to Recruiter, and I'm not getting anywhere.
The fact that you even have
So much to unpack right there. I don't know her background. I don't know her political beliefs. This video is for Canada. Find a job. Find a job. It's not hard. You want to know how to get a job? Go apply at Walmart. Seriously, go apply at a retail job. If you think you're too good for a retail job, you're a joke, for real. I got laid off in December, and there was no way in hell I was going back to that job. I loved it. It paid really well. This is kind of like well, fuck you, dude. Me telling me the story, I deserve to be said, fuck you. But no, if you think about it, yeah, I was making like $32 an hour doing construction. It was cool. The work was hard. Wrecks your body. You never see your wife or your family. In that case, I don't see my wife much. I'm gone a lot. So I said, fuck it. After living on unemployment for nearly 5 months, I realized I don't need to make that much money. Now, this kind of story doesn't help people. It probably just pisses them off because, I don't know, at like 37, I bought a house, like no mortgage. I did it. That's because I lost a really good paying job during the pandemic, and I didn't want to stay where the hell I was. So I took advantage of an opportunity that didn't have high overhead, an opportunity that didn't require me to make monthly payments for 20 plus years. I'm talking about college debt. If an opportunity is to get into if you call an opportunity 60, 70, 80, 90, $100,000 debt, you call that an opportunity, then you're in for a rude awakening, because that's not an opportunity. That's a liability. Because then you have to figure, can you get a job with that degree and make the pay to pay that debt off in X amount of years? And if you're laissez-faire with it, and then you're in your 50s complaining that you still have this debt, well, I don't care, because it wasn't an opportunity. Also, I hate to break it to you, but that good old-fashioned nuclear family is what kept things in check. So if you're a single dude or a single woman, and you're whining about how you can't afford your 2-bedroom apartment that's $12,000 plus, maybe you need to suck it up and find a partner. Maybe you need to stop having unrealistic expectations. And that's just the biggest thing in general, is you need to stop having unrealistic expectations. Or you need to start having, let me get that straight. You need to start having, you need to start being realistic. So many people have expectations they put on people, and you suffer because of it. You suffer because you put expectations on people, which limits your ability to connect with people. And that's the whole shtick with this blah game psyop or whatever it is we're in, people are so into themselves, in their individualism, that they no longer have a connection with people and their own people and a way to help each other out. God forbid you fall in love with someone and have children. That would be horrible, to have little people that look like you and love you unconditionally. And yeah, they give you a reason to wake up every morning and go to a job that you hate. Been there, done that. And you just keep going to the job and you keep working. And then when you keep working, you also save money up. And while you're saving money up, you can invest in other things. This is a weird ass rant, but I don't have sympathy for people who are single, living alone in a 2-bedroom apartment. If you're single living alone in a 1-bedroom apartment, you can still find someone to partner with and work together as a team. That's the one thing that's awesome about love, is when you love someone, you have real good teamwork. You guys can have an awesome life. But you probably don't want that. You'd rather just sit in front of a video and cry about how hard it is. You know what? I did the same thing for 5 months too. I applied for jobs on Indeed. I went to interviews where there was stacks of over 20 to 30 interviews going on, and I was like, oh my God. And at my age and my resume, they probably just said, this guy, no, he has a background in this and a background in that. He could leave for a higher paying job. And it's like, dude, I applied at this job because I needed it. I don't care about higher paying jobs anymore. I'm over that game. At the tender age of 41, and what I have, I don't have to have that grind set anymore or be a try-hard. I just called myself being a try-hard. I was like, I was being a try-hard. I don't need to do that anymore. And I'm in a position where I can work a chill job, minimum wage, pretty much, and get by. And that's because I took advantage of opportunities. I didn't saddle myself with all this college debt and then complain about it. It's like, well, yeah, anytime you take on debt, you have to look years down the road, and people don't do that. When you take on debt, a house, a car, college, you really have to forecast 5-10 years down the road where you're going to be and how you're still going to be able to manage it, and even economically. At the tender age of high school senior year, I knew college wasn't my thing. I didn't even want to be in school at all. I tried dropping out, but my mom was like, how about just take summer classes and graduate early? I was like, okay. So I did that. But yeah, God, everything's awful. College is awful. Even I went back in like 2014. In 2014 and like 2017, 2018. Just took some classes to see if I wanted to do this as a job, and I was like, no. HVAC, I did that. I didn't even like doing HVAC. I did it because I knew it would pay more and get me into a different angle, really. And to be honest, I didn't like it. Yeah, and then later I went to school for criminal justice. I could see the writing on the wall with the wokeism there. I was like, no, I'm not doing this. So anyways, don't be like her and cry about it. Just accept your reality. And go work at a retail store if you really can't find that job with benefits or something. Benefits are a joke anyways. They're insulting. Just pay me more. I'll just can't we have the option? Oh, you can make the base pay that we're offering with the benefits? Excuse me. Or we'll just pay you this without benefits and you're on your own. I'd be like, I'll take the more and then I'll just invest in myself, thank you. People have been so dumbed down to be afraid to invest money because they'd rather spend it on frivolous items. They're called appurtenances. There's so many things you buy you don't need. I'm guilty of it too. I bought a cool pair of Patagonia AOR1 pants. It's like $44 on eBay, but do I really need them? No, but do I like them? Yeah. But am I also invested in like assets? Fuck yeah. So I treat myself. I think we just need to change the mentality of our people. You know, I was thinking one day if we all just started as, because we're called consumers, right? They treat us like consumers. We're just like completely devoid of soul and thinking, and all we want to do is consume, consume, consume. Well, yeah, people do, because we're not taught to invest. Because when you invest, it requires thinking. It requires planning down the road. It requires you to not just live in the moment, but live for future moments. So if you have a mindset where it's save up money to buy toys and cool things for yourself, just know down the road that those cool things you bought, you're gonna have to end up selling. Like, I see so much stuff on the sides of roads, boats, trucks, things that look like second vehicles or third vehicles. It's a rummage sale out there with people's stuff. That's totally like classic 2008. I remember seeing everyone unloading stuff they didn't need because they needed money. Because their toys, their adult toys, just end up costing too much. So, boom, guys, we really need to change the mindset here. Instead of crying on a video about trying to find a job with good benefits, just get a job. Just take whatever job you can and readjust your life, because you're not gonna vote your way out of this. You're not going to picket your way out of this. You're not going to protest your way out of this. There's systems in play that are bigger than us and destructive and hate us. And that doesn't mean quit. It just means adapt, adjust, and change. You can make it work for yourself. You really can. You just have to learn that life isn't about spending money on shit all the time and trying to have unattainable things. Like, you do become a slave to things that you can't afford, because if you think about it, it's taking all your money and leaving you with nothing. Then yeah, you're a slave. Just remember, when you see people driving nice vehicles and living in uber fancy homes, there's only two ways they got it, okay? They paid for it with cash. They must have been hard, diligent workers, very intelligent in their field, and they were handsomely paid for it. Ergo, they paid for it with cash. Or they can afford the debt. We'll put it that way. That's kind of like three things. And then there's the other person. They just look at the monthly payment and they buy it and they say, well, I can afford it because I just saw the monthly payment. Never mind that it's 20 years, 30 years, 5, 6, 7, 8 years for cars, whatever the hell a car loan is for nowadays. Never mind that. They just look at the debt and say, you know what, I can afford this debt. And then they buy it. And then they're stuck in this debt for 5 to 20 plus years. Yeah. And I tell you what, it's getting harder and harder to service debt these days. It really is. So when you see people driving brand new freaking GMCs or fill-in-the-blank vehicles, you can assume two things. They can afford the debt, or they just say, I'll just pay the debt. That's it. I know it sounds simple, like, well, duh, but if you think about it, and if you really think about it and apply that to yourself, hopefully you think about the wages you make. If you make 15 to 20 bucks an hour, if you make that much, which a lot of people do, excuse me, and you see an item that's $30, Well, just know you pretty much have to, even if you're making $20 an hour, just know you have to work 2 hours. You have to put in 2 hours of your energy, of your life, to buy that item. And then you gotta ask yourself, is it worth giving up 2 hours of the energy I put into to buy this item? If it's not, then don't buy it. Just quit being single and living alone and crying and wondering how you're gonna make it. And I don't know if that woman is single or not, but I just see a lot of women. People make videos of women crying. Like, I'm making a video kind of right now of this woman crying and talking about it. Just don't be that person. Don't make yourself a victim.